Chicago with the lead.
Court. Batista with the catch.
Oh! LeBron James with no regard for human life.
Hand down, man down.
Yeah, I can see how disrespectful he's being right there.
No, I went to Temecula and brought you some dirt.
Yep, that's a technical.
Mama, there goes that man.
Welcome back to The Bounce, brought to you by Bite Size Sports. I am Kev. With me is James, and we are doing a very special stream with all of you tonight. We are going to rank all of the NBA teams in a way that only James and I can here.
Exactly.
Thanks to Bite Size Sports. So before we dive into it, let me remind you, this is an interactive show, and we actually are on more platforms than usual, James. We are live right now.
I just noticed that.
5 different streams and Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. So get your comments in now. We want to know where you guys rank these teams and any questions you have about the world of NBA or basketball in general. Fire them away. We want to hear from you in the comments below. But before we kick this thing off, James, how we doing? I know you're a little under the weather. I appreciate you toughing this out for us.
Fighting a little bit of a bug, but Kev, the show must go on. Show must go. I slept a lot today, so it's the show must go on. We got to fight the pain sometimes.
I appreciate that, sir. And yeah, you. He's doing us a big favor being here. So, James, we're going to do you the honors of letting you go first. Yeah, you can pick first for your rankings, sir, and then I will follow. Chat, let us know what your thoughts are.
Interesting. Now, Kev, I've done I know all the teams. I know the rosters. I did no prior planning for this today. So, let's start with I want to start with somebody bad. That's what I really want. I'm going to start with the Pistons. And them boys are going into send help.
The Pistons are going into send help for you, huh? Okay. Ooh.
Yeah, so we have 6 tiers, folks. It's title contender, surprising playoff run, playoffs, play-in, exciting young team, send help.
Send help, which you can guess what that means. And there are going to be maybe some surprises in the send help department. So, okay. Well, I think I have it a little differently here for Detroit. Now, I might be a year too early here. I'm going to put them in the exciting young team. Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham comes back healthy. They've got some other young pieces. They've taken some chances, picking up players that other teams have given up on. But they've got a good young core there. And then the Ausar Thompson has really shown some ball handling skills there. So I don't know. They're going to be fun to watch. I don't think they're going to be good this year. But
I thought about it, so I don't hate you for that one.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot.
So let's go snake draft here. So you go now. You go
snake style. Okay, here we go. Now you may have to check me here. I still think this team will qualify for this, but let me know if you think otherwise. I'm going to give Sacramento a surprising playoff run ranking.
I can go with that. Because they were a first-round exit this year.
Yeah, first-round exit. I don't think as many people will sleep on them, but this is a team that if they get the right matchups and if they run into a lot of the teams in the West, unfortunately, have players with some health issues, lingering health issues. So the Kings could run into a favorable matchup and, in my opinion, potentially make a Western Conference Finals run. So I really like this team. We haven't been shy about that here on this program. So that was an easy one for me. Figured we'd get it out of the way. Surprising playoff run for the Kings. What do you got, James?
Yeah, I'm not even going to argue with you. I think they qualify for it. I like them in the same spot. So I'm putting them right there as well. Got to go up there. There you go.
Do it. All right.
Now, my next team, I saw a team that I love. We're going the Bulls. If there was a different category below send help that said, "What are you doing?" that's where they'd be at.
That, which we almost had. We almost had a 7th tier.
I know.
And the Bulls would absolutely qualify for the "what are we doing?" And they've qualified, in my opinion, since about the trade deadline
Did you
of
see
last year.
the Lonzo Ball video this week of him clapping back at Stephen A. about sitting down?
Getting in and out of a chair on one
Yeah.
leg. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, he proved Stephen A. Smith wrong, which I'm not surprised because
Not surprising at all.
the one thing that has been outside, there's 2 things about Stephen A. Smith. One, he's incredibly gifted as far as like delivering sound bites and stuff.
Mhm.
Can't deny the talent, but he also is very notably not well researched. And
Yes.
it's not like that just is what it is. There have been many instances on national television where he's kind of research is kind of so I don't blame Lonzo for especially. I mean, this is his livelihood. He's got people out here who will never play basketball again, and I can understand him being on the forefront of that, wanting to dispel that. I don't. Getting in and out of a chair does anything to make me feel
like
better.
He's ever playing again, but
him ever playing again, but no issues on my part. Although I will be honest, I saw the video. I didn't hear what was said.
I didn't hear what
Stephen A. Smith said either. I saw him doing one-legged squats in and out of a chair.
He had heard that he couldn't get in and out of a chair is all I heard. So that's all I know. I don't know anything other than I didn't see what was said either.
So with that in mind, I am going to keep this will be my first edition. And you know what? Growing up a Pacers fan in the 90s, I'd be lying to you guys if I didn't say a small part of me kind of enjoys putting the Bulls here in the send help section of the tier here. So forgive me for that, but hey, I'll be upfront with you about it. Here we go. I'm going to put maybe this is tough. You know what? we're knocking off easy ones early, folks, okay?
Yeah.
So it was always the Nuggets, and I'm quoting one Mr. James Schmeitz right there. So there we go. Easy one for me, the Nuggets. Obviously, they lost Bruce Brown, which has been a big addition to my beloved Indiana Pacers, but I still think this team is primed to make another shot. I don't know. Well, maybe we'll talk about that tonight. We'll see who else ends up in this title contender category. Maybe it's still Denver's to lose. I don't know how we feel. I can guess how James feels, but I won't have to because he's going to be up next.
Yep, I already moved them over. That one's the easiest one in the building. Defending champs. We know where they belong. So now let's go. Trying to knock the easy ones out.
Right? It's like a multiple
let's go
choice test, back in the day. It's like, all right, I have a timed test here. Let me knock out the easy ones.
I'm going to go with the Bucks as title contenders. Lopez is back. Middleton's back. Giannis is back. Hopefully Middleton's healthy. He's probably the key to it, but if all those guys, they brought them all back. If they're healthy, I think they are title contenders.
I don't disagree with that. I actually was debating. I knew I wanted to add a title contender with my last pick, and I thought about starting with the Bucks, but that seemed like it would be a disservice to Denver. So I'm going to go with you. We've talked about this before, but in case you're new to the program, we have a wider audience today, so I may repeat some things that longtime listeners have heard. Forgive us, but I think this is still one of the deepest teams in the NBA. They had an injured Giannis and a coach that was distracted for a very good reason due to a death in the family. And it happened to be they ran into the Miami Heat buzzsaw. And you can't the opposing coach can't afford to not have their head in the game going up against Eric Spoelstra. Again, not meant as a knock against Budenholzer by any stretch of the imagination, but I think as long as the coaching situation works out, I always am a bit weary of a team like this. The good the good news is this nucleus has played together for a while now.
Long time, yep.
So I don't think a new coach will rock the boat too much in Milwaukee. So yeah, a long way of saying we are going to keep them in the title
Yep.
contender on mine as well. So now it's getting a little tighter.
I know.
Let's get, this one pains me to put it here because I have wanted this team to be more than this. And at one point last year, they were something special. And if they were healthy, they could have been something special.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I would love to put this team in the surprising playoff run category, but we're going to put the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm going to put them in the play-in.
Oh,
I'm going
not
to put
even
them in
going
the play-in.
playoffs, huh?
I'm not even going playoffs. I would love to. I really want to, James, but I need to see it to believe it at this point. Zion's looking in great shape. That's a bonus.
Yeah, it's a bonus until whatever injury happens.
Yeah, but have we seen him, looking like someone out of the cast of Predator isn't going to help you. I mean, it might be a little easier on his knees, but we'll see. But yeah, I hope they at least play him bound.
I was hoping you were going playoffs because I was going the same thing. Like the same thing. Like, I just don't believe in their health. Even like Brandon Ingram missed 20-some games last year too.
Yep. Best player on the
Zion
team.
obviously hasn't played over 60 in a season, so I'm just not a believer.
Well, hey, we never broadcast or advertise ourselves as debate lords here. The one thing you can actually maybe count on here at the Bounce is you'll get some very consistent analysis and reactions from us, and I think this is fun. We'll see how aligned we are in our thinking. Yep. I know there will be some changes, but it doesn't surprise me because we've been talking basketball together for almost a full year now, and our philosophies are very similar.
Kind of bleed together.
Yeah. So I sorry I let you down. We don't have that parity there this round.
Right.
But
exactly.
That's all right.
I'm gonna go with the Mavericks next, and I think they're gonna get it figured out. I'm going playoffs for them.
Ooh, playoffs.
I like what they did. They traded for Sean Holmes. They took the big man out of Duke, even though they tanked the very last game of the season to pull it off. I like what they did. They added some pieces to help them defensively. They're absolutely atrocious defensively. Kyrie's one of the worst defenders in the league. But I think a year under the belt, they kept Kyrie. They had to. I mean, they had no other options. But I like what they did. I think they're firmly a playoff team next year, finally.
Well, he might not have had a lot of options either. And you know what?
I don't think he did. That's the thing.
You wanted some parity. I'm going to give you some parity.
Oh,
Let's put Dallas in the play-in. I think Luka on his own has proven that he'll get this team about 30 wins all by himself. At least,
yeah, he's
right?
good enough. He's good enough to do it.
So how many will Kyrie get you? How many games will Kyrie play? This team hasn't been
a lot of games. Yep.
Good defensively. Yeah, and he's missed a lot of, and it's not just could it be injury? Could it be off the court stuff? Who knows what it might be with Kyrie. And we didn't, in my opinion, get to see the two of them play enough last year for me to know how much it's going to work.
Correct,
I get that on any given game, one or both of them, because Kyrie, despite all the things I just said, I will not take away from him the fact that he's one of the best closers in NBA recent history.
Yeah.
He can go out and get you bucket after bucket, and he can hit the ones that count. So I'm not going to sit here and say they won't win games and have these monster moments where it's like, oh, wow, these two combined for 70 points. But is that a winning style of basketball? That's been my biggest knock against this team all of last year, James, is how often this team reverts to a 1-4. They're basically doing a box and one on offense. Everybody clear out. One of you two is going to ISO. And it didn't fix their problem. Their problem is they're too ISO heavy anyway, and they didn't have a good enough combination of guys who move without the ball that will make Luka more dangerous because he is a good passer and a creative passer. So is Kyrie. But if no one's moving without the ball and it's just ISO ball, you're basically handcuffing two of your best players and keeping them from doing what they do best.
And they just pinch it in, pack it in, and it was a mess.
So maybe they'll get that figured out. But right now, I think they're a lock to at least be one of those lower 7 to 10 seeds. So that's what
I
I'll
agree.
give them.
Mhm.
Title contender. I'm gonna go with the. Am I going?
Ooh.
Am I going title contender for Phoenix Suns? Is it a surprising like because I don't
don't
know if
think they can
Phoenix
have-
can qualify. Like
No,
it's either playoffs or
or-
title, right?
Yeah, like I don't. They can't qualify for surprising playoff run. I agree. Like
No.
they're a team that they got 4 max contracts. They are not. They can't. They legally can't by the bounce laws. They can't.
This one's tough for me. I'm gonna put them in title contender.
You are.
I'm gonna commit to it. I've talked about this before, but briefly, if DeAndre Ayton comes back and plays hard, he is Frank Vogel's bread and butter. He's exactly what could make that work.
He's
A
Roy
rim protector. Exactly. Yeah, Roy Hibbert plus, right? Like, and the offensive overlap I do think is interesting. But the thing is, with players like Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, they can get you lots of points on very few dribbles. And then Bradley Beal can get you points off the dribble. So I think there will be enough of a commitment. I see Bradley Beal being the one who changes his play style. But yeah, give me the Suns as a title contender.
Lee says Suns win at least 60 games. He's a believer. Lee's a believer.
I like it, Lee. Good. I'm not out here alone. That's good. I appreciate it.
So let's get this switched over here. I am going different. I'm going playoffs. I think their depth is going to kill them because they have Eric Gordon and nobodies. Also, KD's been hurt a lot the last few years. I think they don't have a point guard at all. So Bradley Beal is going to be point guard, which will be interesting because they got rid of Campaign, which I thought he actually would have fit well.
Yep.
Did he. I think, that one was weird. I just think their depth is going to be a problem. And I do agree. I think Frank Vogel's great for Ayton, but I'm also not a Frank Vogel believer either. So I'm going playoffs. And
playoffs.
That's what I think. That's how I feel about them.
I like it. Well, we're getting some of that parody. I like this here now because what's coming after this. For those of you who aren't following us on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, you should probably do that because at the end of the show, we'll each grab a screenshot and we'll have you vote. We'll have you tell us who got it right. Yes.
Let's see. Who do we want to go with? Do I want to get an easy one out? I'm gonna go the fighting Victor Wembanyama's. Have to be an exciting young team. They have to.
Easy one, right?
They have to.
Unless you really believe in the playoff potential. They're at the very least, right? This is their floor as exciting.
Yeah, like
right.
Would it surprise me if made the playoffs? Not really. But I don't think they have enough pieces there just yet.
Yeah, this is a tough one. This puts me on the spot early because I was thinking about this very same question. I believe in that. The Spurs are at the very least an exciting young team. They could be a play-in team. I don't think they'd be quite the surprising playoff run, but to be honest, if they just make the playoffs, that's a surprising playoff run.
That absolutely is correct. Depending on how you qualify that,
they could kind of hop up the tier ladder that way, but I'm just going to settle for exciting young team.
Okay.
Wembanyama, Sochan. I think Malachi Branham is going to make a big step forward in year 2. So, I think the Spurs will be right there knocking on that door. A surprisingly exciting young team. Maybe there are folks that might just be expecting Wemby to turn this team around year 1. I think that's a ridiculous expectation. So maybe those folks won't be surprised if they see this team playing better. But I think this team has some potential always with Pop. And, they've got some nice role players already to build around Victor. So it's going to be a nice little run, I think. Another team that I hope at the very least, I hope to be an exciting young team if they can just stay healthy. The Orlando Magic. Come on, baby. I mean,
It is
poor
such a
Jonathan Isaac again
Yep.
got hurt last year, but it's time after time they have these hurt
Markel
players.
Fultz, all of them.
Mhm.
Yep.
But now we got Paolo Banchero, we have
Mhm.
we have Fultz, we
Fultz
have
was great down the stretch last year. Continuously got better every month. I was obviously a huge believer. I've talked about that at length.
Jalen Suggs was another one who was hurt
Mhm.
a lot, didn't get to play.
Yep.
They have Cole Anthony there. They're just a very crowded backcourt in Orlando, but it's
Mhm.
crowded because of a lot of talent, and
Yes, they
they
took
have
Anthony Black.
one of our favorites. Go
Mhm.
back and check out our draft
Yep.
analysis if you missed it and you need caught up. Yeah, go check that out. Ooh, Lee has a nice
He
addition
does.
here.
He does have a good take. I don't disagree, but one of those teams I'm going to do something with. So
Ooh.
I got one of them teams I'm going to do something with.
For the audio listeners, Lee says Thunder, Houston, Spurs, and Magic are all exciting
Yep.
young teams.
Mhm.
Ooh, I might agree on all of those, Lee. We'll
Yes,
see.
I agree. At the minimum, they're all
Mhm.
exciting young teams. Yes.
Is it my turn? Am I up or are you up for?
Nope.
Yeah, okay.
I gotta put
You're
the
up for the
Magic.
Orlando. That's right.
Yep. And Kev, I'm gonna buy the hype a little bit more. I'm going playing for the Magic.
Ooh, let's go. I
I
won't be
think
mad.
they stay healthy, and I think they finally pull it off. I think they finally have a year where the guys are healthy and they make the playoffs. I'm a big believer. I'm a
I
big believer in
like
Fultz, and
it.
I will openly admit I was wrong about Banchero. I did not think he'd be like that in the league. I was wrong on him.
He has been a stud. Yeah,
Yes.
I absolutely understand. It's so funny that Jabari Smith Jr., who we'll talk about at some point when they come up. It's crazy how for a year he was the consensus number one, and then 2 nights before it was
Yep.
going to be Paolo, and then now looking back, it's like, oh, it was always Paolo.
It wasn't even close. Yeah, looking back, it's not even close.
I mean, if you redraft it now, it might have been Paolo and Matherin. Honestly,
it's possible. It actually is very
that's
possible.
I'm biased there, of course, but
You're definitely biased, but now Matherin kind of slowed down as the season went on, but I think Matherin was really, really good. Okay, who do we want to go with next? There's a couple teams on here that I have no idea what I'm going to do with them.
I know that's where it gets fun. You can only have so many playoff teams too, right? So,
I know. What do we can have 16 playoff teams, right? And I'm at 7.
Yep. And then
I'm not counting conferences. That's illegal.
4 to 6 in that playoff.
Well, when I have
range.
Oh yeah, there's multiple. There's the play-in range I can get. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. So that's true. Let's get an easy one out the way. Let's get the Wizards out of the way. Send help.
Ooh.
Jordan Poole does not count as exciting young team to me.
You know what?
Him and Kuz.
I was excited to see the 2K24 trailer had Jordan Poole call for an ISO against Draymond Green. I'm excited.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, that's fun.
That looks fun. But no, I agree with you on this one. There is no maybe exciting young team is the ceiling here. I don't know.
They did what they were supposed to just a year late. They should have traded Bradley Beal last year. Instead, they gave him the monster contract with the trade kicker and just screwed themselves completely.
Yeah, which is send help and then some. It's like maybe send some front office help while we're at it. Oh boy, where are we gonna go?
There's some teams there, man. Like I don't know what to do with.
I don't know what to do with them. So I am going to. We're going to talk about the Rockets now because they got mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I do think they're an exciting young team. I think they're a team that. Well, it's hard to say a team with a record like that flew under the radar when you have one of the worst records.
They were so bad, yeah.
But they had so many young players. Like it really is one of those things where you look at some of the young players they have and all the experience they got being on that horrible team that it might really pay dividends this season. Now that they've got that, they've all got a lot more confidence coming in. And, and then they add Eamon Thompson to that. So a skill. And then Fred VanVleet, not to be forgotten.
I love
the addition.
I think the Fred VanVleet, even to a lesser extent, Dylan Brooks, I think you bring in veteran guys that know how to play, that know how to win. And because I think without Fred, I don't put him in exciting young team. Like, I don't want to put him in send help, but they were just lost last year. They're just kids. They're all just kids just running around like madmen.
Yeah. Yeah, that I would agree with that. Yeah, Fred is what kind of seals it for an exciting young team
Yeah.
because I do think that, and Fred more so than Dylan, but I will give Dylan Brooks the credit that I imagine he will bring some toughness. I subscribe personally to the idea that Dylan Brooks has a lot of Pat Bev in him, which, to quote Russell Westbrook, is, to paraphrase, I should say, not quite that he has you fooled, but like that he has a brand. Like,
Yeah.
so there are some guys in the league that can just dive after loose balls and be kind of a tough guy, and then somehow get branded as a good defender.
Yep.
And I think at times Dylan Brooks is more of a branded good defender than he is like a lockdown on ball defender.
Mm-hmm.
But he will bring that toughness. He will bring a defensive and he will bring some hustle. And honestly, he's a guy who's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got a point to prove. He's on a redemption arc. So maybe he'll be a good situation for him too, where he's humbled a bit potentially.
Yeah.
And has an opportunity to grow his own thing here and create a new culture in Houston. So I think I like that exciting young team there. So I think it is your turn, sir, to place the Rockets. And
yep. And I'm going.
pressure's on you.
No pressure. I'm the same way. I think we explained enough. I think with the addition of Fred to guide those young guys. Talk about the new head coach, where off the court stuff aside, Ime Udoka has proven he's an elite coach. So new coach, new point guard, Dylan Brooks in there as well. Like, I think they could be sneaky good. I don't think they're a playoff team, but they are definitely an exciting young team.
Yeah, one more year for the playoffs. I agree there. Under pressure.
Hornets drafted Brandon Miller, right? That's who I'm thinking.
Yes.
I'm going to go exciting young team with them. I'm talking myself into this with LaMelo Ball. Obviously, he's kind of wild, but the addition of Brandon Miller's really good. Again, off the court stuff aside, he was stellar last year in college. I'm a big Brandon Miller fan.
I like it. But I don't know that I like it quite as much as you do.
Okay. I mean,
I'm going to send help.
I can respect it. it.
I don't know that this franchise knows what it's doing. I'm interested to see what happens in a post Michael Jordan world. That's the other part. Michael Jordan made this draft pick, and it doesn't really matter that, who made it. I guess at this point he's there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Michael Jordan has not had a very good history of making draft picks.
Also very correct.
I am not saying or suggesting that Brandon Miller is going to be a bust, but he did have some struggles at times. I'm rooting for the team. I would like to see Charlotte do something. They have some nice young players out there, but for now, I'm going to need to wait and see because this is a team that it felt like 2 years ago they felt younger and and they had a lot more promise. This was a team that was a play-in team a couple years ago, and I'm just not sure that they're moving in the right direction.
Take here from Lee. Miller's not that good on the professional level, good at college. It wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me. I think he's got a unique skill set, but it's also got to translate over. So it would not surprise me.
Let me get a solid playoff team in there, huh?
Okay.
Let's see. You know what? This is about as comfortable as I feel putting this team.
I don't know what to do with them.
Justin Herbert, I hope we got a bunch of new viewers jumping on. Welcome, guys. Hopefully one of you isn't Justin Herbert because he's going to be mad at me.
He is.
I've got the Sixers right now as they are currently built as a playoff team because I don't really know what's going on there, James.
So are you under the assumption that James Harden is staying? Is that the plan here?
I'm working with who is on the roster today.
Okay, that's how we're going. Okay.
because of what we know about James Harden's past when he doesn't want to be on a team,
Fat suit Harden.
I am very concerned about what happens to this team early in the season and what kind of hole they may have to climb out of, and thus what kind of a workload does that put on Joel Embiid?
Mm-hmm.
And is he, and then there's a whole domino effect that could be happening from this James Harden situation. So because of that, I can't put this team any higher than playoffs. I think they're still, honestly, I think if Harden gets traded away for some role players and some draft picks, they're still probably a playoff team in the East, maybe only play in. But, I think they're a playoff team no matter what. But, we'll see what happens with the Harden situation.
Okay. I'm going to go a little different because I think this Harden situation is going to be a mess. Like, I think they're playing. I don't think Harden's going to play for him. Now, like, I know we're going current rosters. Man, that whole situation's bad. The stuff he said and when he was in China a couple weeks ago, and I think Daryl Morey promised him a max contract, and the dude does not deserve it. He's not the player he was at Houston.
He claims that Daryl Morey promised he would work quickly to trade him after he signed. That's what he claims. Promise was
stunning development is James Harden trying to get traded from a team. Stunning development.
Breaking news.
Lee asked here, Kev, how many games are they going to have to win to get into the playoffs in the East?
That's a very good question. I need to refresh my memory and check last year's standings.
That's what I'm going to do. Actually, I'm going to pull up
because
that's what I want to look up to.
I don't want to say. Are we talking top 6? What is that going to be, like 50 wins, maybe?
It's probably 50. That's what I would think, but like I said, I've got to look too.
Standings. There we go. Come on, ESPN, the worldwide leader. Well, while he's looking that up, this is a great time for me to do a little bit of a plug here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hang on, I have a graph for this, James. I have a thing. I'm supposed to pull this up. Look at this. Look at the graph. Is it up yet? Look at it. Not subscribed. 60%.
Come on now, folks.
We appreciate all of you. Don't forget it. Don't get it twisted. But if you could, give us the old thumbs up, the subscribe button, share it with your friends. All of that stuff greatly helps. We have your fantasy football needs, all of them. Wednesday nights, Another Damn Fantasy Football podcast. Friday nights, the Rumbles of Red, Best Ball Drafts. I am doing more impromptu live streams as I prepare for my 6 different fantasy leagues. So go see Dan and Trevor for the expert advice. But if you just want to hang around and see how the board goes, come hang out with us here. Bite-Size Sports, all your sports needs. Necessary Roughness on Tuesdays. Don't forget about our dear friends there talking NFL. All right. Do we have the standings pulled up on your end there, James?
The 6 seed Brooklyn Nets were 45-37 last year. So the 7 through 10 was 41 to
50 got you top 5.
The Heat were 44,
50 wins. 51 got Cleveland home court advantage. So 50 wins would have had you in the 5th seed last year.
50 will keep you probably 46. Lee says Sixers probably won't win 42. If this Harden situation goes really far south, it wouldn't surprise me.
Correct. Yep.
Wouldn't surprise me one bit.
I'm rolling the dice on the idea that, I know. Yeah, I said, I guess it's a good point. Because there is such I'm stuck with it, but it's so weird because I'm saying that we're building this, and we are based on how the roster is today. But I also don't believe James Harden is going to end the season as a Sixer. So it's sort of like I'm banking on him being traded and then them still being able to win games afterwards. So we'll see. We'll see how that one comes back to haunt me. But you're up, James. What we're starting to get to a lot of the gray areas here. We're gonna have to get in that murky water.
Oh baby, I like to knock crap ones out. Toronto Raptors, send help. You should have blew it up. You screwed up. Should have blew it up. We talked about this.
Chicago.
Long-time listeners like Lee know we talked about this at the deadline. Chicago and Toronto should have blown it up, and neither of them did, and they are now reaping what they sowed.
Yep. Cannot. You know what? We need a quick one, and I think this is an easy, quick one. So I'm going to go ahead. Boom. Send help. We will. Not much to say here that hasn't been said on this program for months. So we will spare you the lecture.
Here's some NBA news tonight, Kev. This is kind of fun. Came out 3 hours ago.
Breaking news.
Giannis says he does not plan to sign a contract extension when he becomes eligible next month, and he won't sign one until he's comfortable knowing the organization will continue to compete for a championship. Numbers-wise, it doesn't make sense. Next summer, it would make sense for both parties. Even then, I don't know myself. This is an exact quote. I would not be the best version of myself. I don't know that everybody's on the same page. Everybody's going for a championship. Everybody's going to sacrifice time away from their family like I do. If I don't feel that, I'm not signing. I can't argue with his comments there.
Wow. I can't either. There was a part of that, though, that was very interesting, James. It sounded like he was calling his teammates out there, potentially.
Kind of a little bit.
Which now would be the time to do that, right?
Yep.
I think we've both spent a lot of times in locker rooms and in this sport in general, and I would say there is a certain time when these motivating tactics can work.
Mm-hmm.
And this gives you plenty of time if somebody, I don't even want to give a name just so it doesn't get taken out of context, but if a certain role player, doesn't take kindly to that, they have plenty of time to work it out. Hopefully nobody sucker punches anybody at practice, but I doubt Milwaukee will have that problem. I think this is a great show of leadership from Giannis.
I actually do too.
In a weird way. And it's so weird because his contract is involved, right?
Yeah, they can offer him a 3-year, $173 million extension. Another quote, at the end of the day, being a winner, it's over that goal. Winning a championship comes first. I don't want to be 20 years on the same team and don't win another championship. So he cares about winning. And Lee says, I like that from Giannis. I don't hate these comments at all. I don't think they're out of line. I think he's really sounds like he might be putting some of his teammates on blast, but he's really putting the franchise on notice. Because also, don't forget, Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton are not young.
Yep.
They're quite a bit older than Giannis. So their timeline, obviously Middleton's been hurt a lot the last few years, and Brook Lopez was stellar defensive. Brook Lopez is wild, man. We've talked about that at length. But very interesting comments there. Ones that I don't completely disagree with.
I don't disagree with either. Now is the time to do it. Sends a message to the team, sends a message to the front office. As Lee says, Middleton needs to pay attention to that take.
Middleton's the piece,
I think everyone does. Yeah, Middleton especially, injuries had a lot to do with that. I'm sure Drew Holiday's paying attention to that one. Another person that, to my knowledge, is known as one of the harder workers in the NBA. I'm sure he echoes that message.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's my take on it. Now's the time to do those things.
Yep.
Once the season starts, I hope we're not hearing anything else about Giannis's contract. I don't know that, this isn't the kind of guy that you trade away at the deadline at any point in time.
My God, you turn your fan base against you.
Yeah, you go all in to try to make sure he's happy. But okay. So we'll get back into the tiers now. It's tough. It's tough out here on me. I'm really struggling with what to do with the Boston Celtics. So I'll just get it out. I'll say I'm going to go with Boston here, but I don't know where to put them because they're another team. They don't qualify for surprising playoff run. Nope. They couldn't at this point. So they're either
surprising playoff run in a bad way.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Are they a title contender or not? And I hate to do it. I am not as excited as some folks are about the addition of Kristaps Porzingis. I'm just not. I hope it works, but they've added a player. We've been talking a lot about injuries and players not playing a lot. And I, for one, don't know that Marcus Smart ever got the credit he deserved for some of Boston's success. And I kind of think they're going to see that. I think we're all going to see it. I think we will all come to understand just how big of a piece, not only to on the court, but to the locker room that Marcus Smart was. And Kristaps Porzingis, to my knowledge, is not that. He's not that locker room leader. He's not that guy. You don't replace a Marcus Smart, to be honest. Like that kind of locker room energy and leadership, you just don't replace it. But even if you did, Kristaps isn't, to my knowledge, isn't known as one of those guys. So what you've gained in offensive prowess for what you hope is at least 40 games out of the season, what did you lose from Marcus Smart? So give me playoffs here, James. I'm not sold that this Boston team is going to make a finals run.
Interesting. I want to pull up Kristaps before I make my call here.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull up. So I'm going to pull up the stats.
Get those games played. It's
That's
always
actually what
important.
I was going for.
Yeah, got to figure out what we're looking at here. And I would love to be wrong, to be honest. For one, I would love to see Tatum and Brown get one together,
Hopefully
great.
Brown's working on his left hand. Kristaps played 65 last year, which is the most he's played since his second season in the league.
Yeah. So,
all right.
So
put me on the spot here. I'm going.
Bum, bum, dun, 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 dun.
I am going quite a bit different than you. I think that Kristaps was a wildly different addition. He's coming off his best statistical season ever. He is really good defensively. Averaged 23 a game last year, shooting 39% from three. He sneakily, like I said, he struggled there about a 4-year stretch where he didn't play over 50-some games. I think they had to change it up. Now, a lot of their problems, I think, are going to stem from coaching. And I think they had Sam Cassell. They added some former vets to help there. I think Boston is a title contender. I think they're going to, especially come off the disappointing run, the bashing of Jaylen Brown, should you got the contract, et cetera, et cetera. I think they're going to have a big bounce back year.
Okay, you might be right. And honestly, as I look at the rest of the board, I'm like, I might not have a lot of Eastern Conference title contenders on my board, but we'll see how it shakes down. Well, who you got next? Who you putting up on that board, sir?
Nate
I
going Pacers title
it. Oops, I got a little trigger happy. I jumped on that. I forgot.
Yeah. I run the comments.
I forgot you run the comments on this show. Sorry. Well, when I see the Pacers, I just get a little excited.
You got all excited. Let's go with the Grizzlies here. Ja's suspended for 25 games. Man, do I think playoff are playing because of that? Obviously, they've got Marcus Smart. They were the ones that traded. They were part of that trade. I'm going to go playoffs. I think even though he's out for 25, I think they'll still be okay to get in.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Nate says playoff run for Memphis, and I don't disagree. I think I'm in the same debate right now. Do I think they will be a play-in team, or do I think they'll be a playoff team?
That's the question. How much do you think the 25-game suspension affects him?
Right, and it should be noted that over the last 2 years, Ja has missed significant chunks of time, and the Grizzlies notably had very high winning percentages in those situations. They managed to win without him. And now they've basically swapped out Dylan Brooks for Marcus Smart as far as the most notable rotation piece. That's going to be – so I like their ability to still win games without Ja Morant. Here's my thing, though. The rest of the West got better.
Yes, they did.
So I'm going to keep Memphis in a play-in situation for now. But they very easily, to me, could make a surprising playoff run, because it might be surprising now based on, if they somehow manage to win 17 of those games Ja Morant misses, then all of a sudden they're prime for a potentially deep playoff run. But I'm going to give him play-in for now, because it's not just the fact that Ja's missing 25 games. It's that Ja misses 25 games, then he has to come back. Then they have to figure out how he and Marcus Smart are going to play together.
Yeah,
and we talked about that with Minnesota last year. and how that was an issue to why Ant and Rudy Gobert couldn't figure it out. They didn't get a lot of time to play together.
Yep.
And so it just takes that. Only time can fix that. So who knows how long it will take for them to get into a flow of things. So, I am going to, man, I don't know what to do with the Portland Trailblazers. So I'm just going to put them in send help because
they're
they're here.
Scoot, but that doesn't make them a exciting young team. He's going to be fun. But
Scoot's good. Shaden Sharp, I think, is going to be good. I do think they have exciting young pieces.
I think they got Jeremy Grant. Did they re-sign him, right?
Oh, and that's all of this could be well and good, but it doesn't seem to have sold Dame. Dame wants out.
Yeah,
I have no idea what they're going to get for him.
Yeah, I am we're both playing off the assumption Damian Lillard is not playing for them next year.
Yep. And even if he does, I don't feel bad putting him in send help because they earned that title by how they mishandled this situation over the years. Had multiple opportunities to build a winner around this guy. So, you know what? You can just sit and send help and think about what you've done.
Yep. I would agree with that. You're not going to get any difference from me there. They go. Trailblazers go send help. They botched the Damian Lillard situation, which is a bad deal. So on the other hand, I'm going to flip. I'm going to go with the Miami Heat. I am still a believer that Damian Lillard is going to play for the Heat, which makes them, to me, a title contender. I don't think his agents made it very well known that's where he wants to go. Maybe they can't get the right package right now. I am a firm believer Damian Lillard is going to play for the Miami Heat next year.
Okay. I like it. I'm going to I'm actually going to add them to title contender as well. Mm-hmm. Whether or not they add Damian Lillard.
You're talking about the team that just went to the finals. Obviously they just went to the finals. Max Bruce, which hurts.
But if there's ever been a team that replaces those guys, it's this one. And over the last 3 or 4 years, they've basically been in the finals, except for the 1 year where they were the 1 seed in the East, and they didn't go well.
Things didn't go so well.
Yeah, they at this point have shown me that consistency that Miami Heat, they are right there. They're going to be in the thick of it. If it's not Dame Lillard come trade deadline, it'll be something. They'll make a move if needed. And so let me follow in line there and add the Miami Heat as a title contender. Now, let's see. Let's do this one's going to be fun here. Let's do the Los Angeles Lakers.
Interesting.
I was thinking about saving them for late, but we're getting a lot of West Coast teams here towards the end that I think are going to be in a similar situation. So let's talk about the Lakers out loud together, shall we? We've got LeBron, we've got AD,
Austin Reeves
brought back Austin Reeves. Who else did
D'Angelo Russell?
D'Angelo Russell
is back. Didn't they? Let's go look. They're an interesting team. They made a lot of moves that I really liked, and I want to make sure we don't miss any of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't like them, so I hate that they did it.
Yep. Another team, while you look that up, we'll say, of course, they're going to get excluded from surprise playoff run.
Yeah,
I don't think they can. This is a team that we're either looking at contender playoffs or play in, because also due to AD and LeBron, I wouldn't call them an exciting young team either.
No.
I don't think they're quite – this time last year they qualified for send help in my book, but not now. They made some deals at the trade deadline.
Gabe Vincent signed with them.
That's the big one, yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, man. This is tough.
Drafted Jalen Hood-Schifino, Nate's boy.
Who I love, and mine. Yes, you can check out my draft profile on him at lastwordonsports.com. Check it out, Last Word on Basketball. I'm going to put the Lakers in a title contender spot because they have
there's a lot of pieces
of the pieces that fit well with LeBron. And I am also working on the assumption that Gabe Vincent was not a fluke last year in the playoffs.
He was great. He was so good in the playoffs.
And I think they finally have the pieces with him and Reeves and Rui and Hood Shafino, and that LeBron can maybe have some load management in the real sense, in the sense of he shouldn't need to average 40 minutes a game this year.
They need to manage him a lot.
Yeah. Anthony Davis. Now, this all comes with the caveat: if one of or both of them misses 20-plus games,
they're in trouble.
Then it just becomes, where do you land in the playoffs? Because it's gonna be about matchups. Listen, there are so many good teams in the West. It's really gonna come down to how you match up. So something as simple as, LeBron missing 6 games with a groin injury could really add up in a year like this when they're just so deep in that conference. So what do you think, James? You're on the spot now, sir. Where do you have the Los Angeles Lakers?
I'm gonna go with the same thing. I would if I would have beat you to it, I'd have done the same thing. I'm not a Lakers fan, but I absolutely love what they did this offseason. Keeping Reeves was such a big deal. I'm surprised nobody else tried to get him, like the Spurs. Somebody paid some money. They re-signed everybody. Russell drafted well. I'm a big fan.
I like it. Speaking of big fans,
our boy Justin Herbert, the newest member of our Discord there, the GOAT's GOAT. And then he's got to come out and say, like, why do you got to call out Ryan Tannehill like this? Ryan Tannehill ain't done nothing to him.
I actually think
What the heck, man?
That's a different Herbert that joined our Discord, which, by the way, I did just add.
Oh, is it?
I added the link to Discord in the comments. So whichever platform you're watching, unless you're on Twitter, if you're on Twitter, you're going to have to go somewhere else.
I can get behind this hot take. Richards, Ryan Leaf, I'm about it.
That is awful. You know what? I don't take back where I put the Sixers now, but you should know James put them in play-in. I put them in playoffs.
I did.
So,
I just don't know what's coming with that team.
You know where the heat should really be directed at. But
okay. I'm trying to save some of my teams here down the stretch. Let's go. I'm going to go with the Nets.
Ooh.
I'm going to go send help. And the real reason is, obviously, they got Mikal Bridges, who's really good, but they have help coming in the form of a lot of draft picks down in the future for the trades to get, Kyrie and KD and Harden out of there. So send help is real. It's just not here yet.
Yeah,
that's all good, Jay Herbert. This is a hot take right there. Mo Bamba, 6th man of the year.
Bamba, 6th man of the year. That is great. This is tough. So
this one's
Brooklyn, huh? I'm leaning send help. Bridges is almost enough to make me.
It's tough.
What was it? Is Cam Thomas still there? The dropper of random 40 burgers?
Yeah, Cam Thomas should still be there. Yep.
What? It's saying Justice says won't let him join Discord. Oh, you know what? It might need to be a new link. We'll get you a new link, Justin. Once it's James' turn, I'll add a new link. I just thought about that. I'm dumb. Those things expire. So I need to get a new link in there. Yep.
Here, you talk through what you're doing. I'll get it.
Perfect. Appreciate you. So updated Discord link coming in the comments. Let me think about the Brooklyn Nets. I'm gonna go send help. I wanted to go exciting young team. I think they might be one exciting piece away. I'm with you there. Yes, we can. I can't wait for it, Justin. Yeah, heck yeah. We want to see those.
For our audio listeners, says he'd be killing the sports memes.
He also says the Nets are the Titans of the NBA, James. So you can address that on your next turn. But oh man, let's see.
That's here. Good for them. That's good for them then. Division winners most year in, year out.
I think we're gonna get rid of I mean, this one's still kind of fun, but almost all there's only one or two left now that aren't a ton of fun for me. So we're gonna
try to get them out. That's what I'm doing.
With Utah here, who was another team that we thought should have they won too many games last year.
They just won too many out the gate. It was their own fault.
So I'm just going to keep them in the exciting young team category right now.
Laurie Markkanen.
They're probably a threat to hit the play-in, but I don't know because, in my opinion, they won a bunch of games that maybe they shouldn't have won last year, and that may be
It
to their
came out
detriment.
hot. It cost them draft picks. We've talked about that at length.
Justin says he apologized. He's just in his feelings for how the 07 to 09 Chargers didn't get a ring.
That's funny. That is, I get it, man. I get it. Titans losing on the 6-inch yard line is 2006, 2000. I get it, man. I get it. Justin Herbert, I will tell you, man, I am a major LaDainian Tomlinson fan. He is one of my favorite running backs ever.
Yeah, I get it. Every time I
man.
see Drew Brees, I think about that Super Bowl that the Colts should have won over the Saints, and I want to throw something.
Oh, dude, I get it.
Reggie Wayne doesn't trip on a slant route where it's a whole different story.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. We've got Jordan Clarkson, John Collins, Keontae George, Johnny Juzang, Walker Kessler, who's really good, Laurie Markkanen. Man, that's the question.
It's definitely exciting, right? It's definitely at least an exciting young team, maybe. I don't know. As exciting as things can be in Utah. You know?
I will go with exciting young team. I almost want to put Send Help in, like they've got $1 billion first round draft picks coming from. Oh, Justin Herbert's got a good question here. Do you think the Sixers have a chance? If not, does Embiid? It all revolves around James Harden, and for all extensive purposes, he says he's not playing there this year.
Yeah,
so
and
what
then
can they get back for him?
Boom, there it is. Yeah, what do we get back?
If it's a bunch of picks,
return for James Harden,
for it. Yeah.
And at that point, yeah, I would agree with James. He would probably request a trade if they don't get something good in return. So, man, that's a tough one. I do think they have a chance, but I think it really all depends on what they can swing from a James Harden deal.
Mm-hmm.
And currently, because I don't know, I can't remember exactly, where does James Harden want to go?
I think the Clippers.
So what can the Clippers have a lot of depth, but there's nothing that they have that they would want to give that's going to fit around Embiid and make him say, "Oh yeah, this is." A
third team has to become involved, most likely.
You know, unfortunately, no slight to Tobias Harris, but this time there's no Tobias Harris on the Clippers that we can say, "Here's an inflated 20 points per game. Isn't this guy really good?" Mm-hmm. They don't have that this time.
Correct.
So what is it? Are you going to send him Bones? You know, you're going to send Bones over? Is that going to solve your problem?
You do love Bones.
I do love Bones. I love Terrence Mann, but
that's your boy.
Joel Embiid's not going to – even if I'm Joel Embiid, I don't love him as much as I love him now. So I'm sorry. Just I'd have to see what they get in return for James.
I'm going to knock off – let's see. I got to count my team. So I've got 8 playoffs.
Ooh.
I'm not playing by rules. I'm playing by where I think. So if I –
you can overdo it. It's fine. You know, like it's totally fine. They have playoff. They're in that playoff range. You know?
I'm going with Atlanta, and man, I'm between play-in or send out.
Right.
I'm gonna go play-in, as I think they've got Quinn Snyder's a hell of a coach.
Yep.
They have Deontay. They have Trae Young. They have dudes. I don't have a high ceiling on them. I think they're just a wipeout in the play-in. But Quinn Snyder is a great coach. I also never noticed their logo says Atlanta Hawks Basketball Club, and that's a lot of fun.
You gotta love that.
I like that. I'm a big fan of that.
They should all be basketball clubs. So it's my turn, to do Atlanta. Party in the city where the heat is on. No, wait, that's the Miami song. Welcome to Atlanta, where the players play and the basketball club. I will not sing the rest of that Jermaine Dupri song. Don't worry, guys. I know they're spamming the dislike button now. Let's see. Atlanta Hawks. I'm going to give you play in as well.
They're tough.
Yeah, the only reason I'm not saying send help is kind of alludes to what you were talking about. I believe they got their help in Quinn Snyder. We already saw And some of that is national sports narrative. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I say the national sports media narrative,
Yeah.
see the Jonathan Taylor situation in Indianapolis, and feel free to DM me if you have any questions.
Let's just do a side note, man. Just what a mess. One thing I'll give the Titans credit for, like on this isn't shitting on the Colts at all. They got that deal with Jeffrey Simmons done early this offseason. They've had no drama. Like we obviously last offseason it was a mess, but
if Jonathan Taylor hadn't been hurt, he'd have been paid. This whole thing is just Jim Irsay just wants to see him play this season. He'd have had a new deal inked by week 5 or week 6.
Yeah, he was hurt all season. He's a year too late on it, and is the discourse on running backs swung too far in the wrong direction? Like, is it too far gone? Like, Jonathan Taylor is really important to Anthony Richardson's development.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at the Chiefs, right? Look at the Chiefs who passed on Jonathan Taylor and have been to the Super Bowl twice without him.
The difference between the Chiefs and the Colts right now is the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes on a mega deal, and the Colts have like some of the most cap space in the league. So it doesn't, and they got Anthony Richardson on a 4-year rookie deal, so it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, here's the thing that's tough with the Colts is you're also talking to an owner who had Falk, didn't bring him back. Replaced him with Edgerrin James, had Edgerrin James, didn't have the money to pay him, had to let him go, replaced him with Joseph Adai, won a Super Bowl with Joseph Adai, couldn't afford to pay him, and then brought Dominic Rhodes back, of all people, who rushed for 1,000 yards back when
the only argument I have against it is Jonathan Taylor, one, is better than all of them except Marshall Falk. And 2, it's just the cap situation difference because they have a rookie quarterback. So the money, like they could do a 4-year deal. Now the thing is the rumors are Jonathan Taylor wants a backbreaking contract. Like
he wants $16 million a year. He's not going to get it. And the thing
Christian
is,
McCaffrey gets 15, and he is arguably he's a
two-way player.
He's not really running back. He's a receiver too. Like
you have to have that, and that's what people are talking about. Yeah. They're going to trade Jonathan Taylor to the Bears. I don't think he fits in Chicago. I don't think he fits. Fun. You want to talk about a team that needs a versatile pass catching back? It's that Bears offense. They don't need Jonathan Taylor. Also,
they won't pay him, but they want a 1st-round draft pick for him. So it's wild.
because they will pay. Because that's the thing. That's the narrative. Everyone say they don't want to pay. There has never even been an offer. You can't lowball a guy who you haven't offered.
Yes.
And to think about it, when we think about this logically, you don't have to offer someone who's already under contract.
Correct.
It is not owed to him to have this extension locked up before he has completed his contract.
Yep.
And all the team wanted to see was him
healthy.
Go out and play a few games and be healthy
and the thing is,
Jonathan Taylor of 2021. And that's why they've said, go ahead and ask for a trade. Go find us. We'll find a team that's willing to meet what we want in our offer, who's also going to pay you $12+ million a year.
He came to training camp not ready to go. He was still hurt. He was
allegedly.
Allegedly. Here's a good one. JT for Eckler, Jake Kelly, 4th rounder.
Sold. Done.
Also, this one's really good, too. Justin Herbert says Bob Sanders played for the Chargers after y'all. All the damn near retired players go to the Chargers at the end of their damn cares.
Oh, so that was Phillip Rivers just getting us back at the end.
Bob Sanders was a dog. Bob Sanders was really good.
I love that guy. All right. So
back to basketball here.
Subscribe for more NFL talk because we both have our own team-specific NFL podcast coming to the network, Titans and Colts shows. Yep. So let's go. Is it my turn? Your turn? All right. So I did Brooklyn last. Okay.
No, we just did. We did Brooklyn or the Hawks? One of the two.
We did the Hawks. Yeah, we did the Hawks. All right. You know what? I'm going to put the Oklahoma City Thunder in surprising playoff run category because
you stole my thunder.
Oh, damn, pun intended. I am so sorry. But
so I'm just gonna pull mine up and do the same thing. I was going to do the same thing.
We are both high on this team. They were a little ahead of schedule last year.
Yeah, without Chet Holmgren.
And they made some interesting, good draft picks this year as well.
Cason Wallace.
I think the Thunder are going to win a title or be in a run for the finals in the next 3 to 5 years.
They have they still have draft picks coming forever. They got a lot of young dudes, man. They've got Lou Dort. Josh Giddey's an elite passer. He's awesome.
Yeah,
Shea, obviously. Shea is a MVP type player. What a jump he took. They've got Chet coming back. Missed all of last season. That him and Wemby and Scoot's going to be a fun Rookie of the Year conversation.
Chet, who looked good in a pickup game against Kevin Durant, and then got to work with Kevin Durant after the game. So.
Trey Mann, Keontae Johnson, they drafted. Cason Wallace was another big draft pick for them. They got both the double Jalen Williams, the one from Santa Clara and the one from Arkansas. They're fun. They're fun. I agree with the surprising playoff run, and maybe that's
only thing be better if they were in Seattle. You know,
Thunder, Justin Herbert, Thunder versus Sixers, hopefully soon for the championship. Be dope.
Hey, I'm sticking to it. What, 2026? I'm going to say it's Thunder Pistons, in my opinion. Those are the two. Those are the two teams.
That's a hot take.
Dude, you see that? I see that Pistons team. It's the young core they've got. Give them 4 years. Woo! They're all still there. My God.
Yep. So now I'm up. Okay, now we are down to the nitty gritty.
Mm-hmm.
Kev, we're both going to agree the Pacers are going to be our last team.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna make you pick. Yeah, I was gonna be like, I don't want to put them on the board.
I will put them on the board first, no matter what. I will put them first, but they are the last team. I will put them first.
Oh, that's great.
Next, we're gonna go with the Villanova Knicks.
I love it.
Stick them firmly in the playoffs.
Yep.
Josh Hart was great for him down the stretch. Jalen Brunson was really good. They added Dante DiVincenzo to form the Villanova Triad. I think they're a firm playoff team. I don't have a high ceiling for them, maybe second round again, but I do believe in the Knicks.
I like it. Yeah. They just can't get it done. You might be right. Unlike one Mr. Wallace Zerbiak, I have respect for my rivals in New York. And I will give them the credit that they deserve instead of calling them, a wannabe playoff team or anything. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say this is a legitimate playoff contending team. It's a solid team that I do believe will make it out of the first round in the East. I think they're going to continue to get better. But also, thank you for Obi Toppin on the cheap.
We'll talk about it later. Can't talk about it. I was a big Obi Toppin fan in college. In college. We played him and almost beat him. We were the second closest team that year to play him.
Oh, so here we go. You know what? And sticking with their playoff matchup from last year, I'm going to throw Cleveland right in there. And
Justin
James,
Herbert.
I'm just going to slap. Oh, yeah, Justin. The Pacers got Obi. Basically what happened, Justin, so the Pacers traded Chris Duarte to the Kings for 2 second-rounders. So Chris Duarte goes to Sacramento. And then the Pacers traded 2 second-rounders. I don't think they were the same, but they traded 2 second-rounders to New York in return for Obi Toppin. So as far as the Pacers are concerned, you basically traded Chris Duarte for Obi Toppin, which is a match made in heaven. I'll gush about that here in a minute. But, yeah, so the Cavaliers, James, I wanted to put them as a surprising playoff run, but honestly, I think last year was their year for it to be a surprise if they had done it. And they didn't do it. And so, honestly, like you had mentioned before with some other teams, the only way this could be a surprising playoff run is if they are a top seed and get swept. It can only be a negative surprise. So give me the Cavs as a solid playoff team. There's so much talent there. I'd like to believe they could become a title contender, but I'm going to have to see them.
They also got the Donovan Mitchell extension hanging over the team this year. He's up for an extension, so that's a big deal. And yes, Justin Herbert, it's always the Owls, baby.
Oh, yeah, you know it. That and the Nuggets.
I will go. I'm going to do the same thing here. I like Cavs as a playoff team. I like the moves they made. I just don't know what their ceiling is or becomes, I thought they were going to beat the Knicks this last year, and they did not. Not even close.
Yeah, it didn't work out. We'll see. Nope. We'll see how it works for the Cavs this year, but look at them right next to each other, just like they were in the standings.
Justin Herbert says Cavs should have accepted Daryl Morley's trade, then they would have been championship contenders.
I don't remember what the exact offer was, but we'll see. They got a nice young core.
They do. All right, let's go with one of Kev's favorite teams, the Los Angeles Clippers.
Ooh, yeah.
Who very well could be the home of James Harden if he has it his way. I am going play-in. I think injuries just will not stop. Kawhi, Paul George have not been healthy one time together in their tenure there, and I just, as sad as it is, I just don't see it happening.
Ooh.
Jared Allen and Evan Mobley for Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris over me?
Justin, you're right. Maury
Yeah.
might have been. He might have hit the peace pipe a couple of times.
Yeah, he might have been
before
losing it.
submitting that one. Who? I wonder who came up with that idea with NBA 2K Trade Finder.
Possibly.
My
Bruh.
goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, so it's my turn then, right? And we are doing the Clippers. And as I look at it here, you know, I'm thinking I may end up with more than 6 Western teams in my playoff spot. So I'm debating here if the Clippers should go in my play-in column as well. Oh, that's so tough. Just because it all comes down to injury in a vacuum. You know, it's insane that we may never get even one full season of Paul George plus Kawhi. That's so crazy.
Yep.
To me.
It sucks. It's just sad, man. Their careers have been wrecked by injuries.
So I'm gonna go play in because we still have 2 other Western Conference teams on the board, and I've already put 5 of them in a playoff situation here. So
yeah, I'm not counting this correctly, so I don't care. I'm just playing.
Yeah,
I'm flying by the seat of my pants here.
You know, I'm going to put Minnesota in that same play-in territory, man. I'd like to bump them up to playoffs, and if we were to do this after a month, I might, but like I just kind of need to see it, right?
The Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert situation is still a problem there, you know.
Yeah, and Mike Conley could have solved for a lot of that. Who knows? We know how much I love Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, which did you see my tweet, by the way? Somebody finally did it. They did a side-by-side, and they're like, here are all of the Michael Jordan moves that Anthony Edwards emulates.
Yeah,
so when I say
he's killing it at the FIBA World Championship, right? He's unbelievable.
When I say he reminds me of a young Jordan, like I mean it, and I believe that was done by design by one Mr. Anthony Edwards. I have a hard time believing that's all coincidence. But
Anthony Edwards is a dog.
Agreed.
He's unbelievable.
He'll be the one. Cannot wait to see. I mean,
they got to make it. They got to figure. Like, I think Cat needs traded. Like, I think he's the one to go. They made a mess trading for.
Pick one. I'd trade both of them. They both are mental head cases in my opinion.
A complete screw up on their part.
Yeah.
Trading for Gobert. So dumb.
Cat has an incredible air about him. And listen, you have to have a little bit, you got to have a little crazy to you. You have to believe your own hype, but to call yourself the greatest shooting big man of all time while you're not only an active player, but relatively young into your career is a level of confidence. Like it's cool for you to believe that and say it to yourself in the mirror in the morning to make, before a game.
Public comments like that is something.
To say it like that. Rudy Gobert has just always been a clown, with all due respect, or whatever respect is due. I don't want to go back to the lockdown, the bubble season, when for a joke he just goes and touches a bunch of microphones, and then the next thing you know, he and half his team have COVID, and it's like, all right, that's funny, but at the same time, like Rudy, he got into it with Kyle Anderson last year.
Yeah, that was a mess.
Like, he's kind of a clown, and I would not want either of those players on my team. Just to be honest with you, Cat, despite his talent, and Rudy because he's not nearly his talent isn't worth the headache.
Yeah. Lee says Anthony Edwards has gone crazy shooting threes in the World Cup. Justin Herbert, actually, Tobias and Harden for Cat, Prince and McLaughlin.
There you go.
Wouldn't hate it.
Who says no?
who says no, right? So we got our last 2 teams. We got Golden State and the Pacers. I'm going to do some wild stuff here. I think Golden State is going to be a title contender this year. I think the drama's behind him. Jordan Poole's gone. I don't know how Chris Paul fits in that mess. If he's got to probably be the 6th man, but I think Golden State puts it together for one more run. I mean, they won a title just 2 years ago, so let's not forget about that.
Oh yeah, I can never rule them out. Don't you forget about me.
Don't
Say,
you?
yeah, there it is. Boom,
Justin
boom.
Herbert, you need to put the peace pipe down, bub.
I am going to put Golden State solidly in that playoffs category. I don't necessarily
Mhm.
think you are wrong here, but you know, I I think they'll be solid. They'll be a quality playoff team. I don't know that they're
Mhm.
going to have that crazy home winning record that they had
That
last
was
year. I
wild.
mean, what a
Maybe they
wild
won't be
team they
as bad
were.
on the road. They won't have. They shouldn't have to deal with the Andrew
I would
Wiggins
hope not.
situation.
Yeah,
Trace Jackson Davis is a fun little ad in the second round for him.
exactly. Exactly the kind of player that they would get too. You know,
Mhm.
a quality player who, because his game doesn't fit the aesthetic of the league currently, so he just falls to them.
Yep.
And you know, he could very well be, you know, like a Kevon Looney that can score.
Yep.
You
Mhm.
know, for them, somebody can do something. So, yeah, give them a playoff run for me. Well,
Yep.
here we are, James. It's a
Yep.
moment of truth.
And I'll take over here. I will go first, just so this doesn't seem biased. We have not talked about this at all. Kev, I am going to put the Pacers. And I can't get it, will not go up as high. I am going to give them surprising playoff run.
Ooh,
I
yeah.
absolutely love what they did. I love the Obi Toppin trade. I think it's fantastic. I think him and Halliburton in fast breaks is going to be something to behold. The Knicks really, they didn't run the right style for him. And when he, late in the season, when he had games where he was just, where Julius Randle was out, his stats were great. He was awesome. So seeing him run
Mhm.
pick and rolls, run the fast break with Halliburton is going to be awesome. I love the Bruce Brown sighting. Short term, big money. Like if it goes bad, he can get out after 1 year. I think it's a great signing coming off a title run. Gives
Yeah.
them a veteran presence that just won the whole thing. I hate that I feel that way, but I think they're in. I don't know what. Like I said, we can justify surprising playoff run. Maybe it's a playoff play in the second round type deal. I just think they're going to be really good. I think they're sneaky good this year.
I'm glad that you did it, so I don't just have to look like a
We never
big
talked
ol'
about it.
homer,
Yep.
because I'm putting them there too. Here's the thing, on top
Yep.
of everything you said, which was great, there's also Jarris Walker, the first round pick.
Yeah, great
That
first
fits,
round draft pick. Fits in perfect next to Obi.
yeah, great fit there. You know, Bennett, we didn't talk about Benedict Mathurin much. We talked about him
Yep.
earlier in the rookie conversation from last year. He's been
Mhm.
great. Buddy Hield, incredible floor spreader.
Yep.
And you know, they have depth at point guard too. They have some quality, like Andrew Nemhard.
Yep. I was just looking at him there. Mhm.
It's hard to not start him. And
Oh,
there's still TJ McConnell on that team.
their other
You
first
know,
round draft pick, Ben Shepherd out of Belmont.
yeah. So this is just a solid team, man. And I really do think they will be a team. Yeah, like you said, what is a surprise? I think
Former
at the very
Philadelphia
least,
76er TJ
yes,
McConnell.
sir. I think at the very least, it's a like I think they're getting through the play in, and I'd like
Mhm.
to think that they have the ability to win a first round matchup. I could see this team sneaking their way into like a 6 seed,
Yep.
just because they have. I mean, you talk about FIBA. You know who else has been really showing out in FIBA is Tyrese Halliburton.
Yes, he has. Him and Ant
Um,
have been the two best players on that team. Yep.
and he's done things like get a rebound and throw a full court assist in all in one motion. You know,
Yep.
rebound it with one hand and Kevin Love style pass it, and that's your point guard doing that. So hey, and they just signed Amir Johnson to a 10-day contract. So lock it in, baby.
Lock it
Boom.
in, baby.
Justin Herbert, field reporter Justin Herbert, with that. Thank you. Got to credit our sources where they.
Oh, they signed Isaiah Wong too. I didn't realize that. He was great at Miami.
Oh, lock it in. Yeah, I think they're going to be a solid team. I very much am looking forward to the Pacers season this year, despite my usual pessimism. So,
Yep, I think they're going to be sneaky good. I love what they did this offseason. I'm a big fan, buddy.
well, I'm happy to hear that. And
That's why I went first, just so this didn't seem biased. We did not talk about it. I firmly believe it.
I appreciate it, man. Well, there we go. I mean, we
Justin
have
Herbert, 5
yours.
seed for Carlisle.
Oh, okay. I like it a lot. Well, make sure I'll take a screenshot of mine. James, if you can take a screenshot of yours
I'll
on
give
your
it to you.
end, we'll get these posted. We'll update it. We'll upload a poll. Well, we'll upload the photos and we'll create a poll. And you guys can let us know who you think had the best tier. We'll switch over here and show you James's real quick. And then we'll swap back.
Mhm.
There's his. Here is mine. And there you go, folks. So let us know in the comments below what you think. And while you're there, if you could hit the old share button, maybe give us a like, let the folks out there know that you're having a good time interacting with us on the stream. But other than that, James, I think that about wraps it, man. You've been a trooper hanging through
I fought
80
through, buddy.
man. I appreciate that. Oh,
Yep.
wow.
Justin Herbert calling you out for Ryan Leaf in 16 days.
Hey, man, he's looking pretty good he looked pretty good earlier. We've been recording, so I missed the rest of his preseason game, but AR looked pretty good against the Eagles backups tonight. So, James, where can they find you, brother?
They can catch us here every Thursday at 9, and then every Wednesday you can catch me, you, and Johnny Football talking Star Wars, Ahsoka reactions, Han Shot First, 9 o'clock on Dweeb, every Wednesday at 9.
100%. I look forward to that. Yeah, don't forget, guys, to subscribe here as well, Bite Size Sports, because we have Tuesday night NFL podcast. We have our Wednesday night, Another Day in Fantasy Football podcast. The Bounce right here, right now. You know that. Thursdays at 9. Rumbles of Red on Friday, as occasionally we have Biting Early podcast Friday morning. And we've got a ton more fantasy football content as well as podcasts about all of your favorite sports. And also, while you're on YouTube, go ahead and check out 3 Wide TV so you can catch the number 9 bite-sized sports car in action. Oh, Justin Herbert.
Lee got
having
him.
a little spat. Let's go in the comments. That's why we love it. Hey, if you want the trash talk,
Appreciate you guys.
Join us in our Discord where we do encourage it. Everybody have fun, be safe, take care of each other. James, thank you.
I made it, baby.
Thank you, audience. We are out of here. All right. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys.
Y'all take care.